Hi there. Probably you're sitting watching this and rather reluctantly. Probably somebody has sat you down in front of this and said, you really need to watch this, or please will you watch this. So you're probably approaching this in a kind of reluctantly. You probably don't really want to be sitting here, and you probably certainly don't want to be listening to me. And I can understand that because I've been there. Many years ago, my wife phoned Alcoholics Anonymous. She had been talking to me about my problem with my drinking for many years, and she phoned Alcoholics Anonymous, and somebody came on the phone to me and said, "Have you got a problem with your drinking?" And I said, "Well, I'm not really, I don't think so." He said, "Well, I'll come and pick you up in 10 minutes. So he came along and he took me to an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting, and I thought, I really don't want to be here. I don't want to be in among all these losers. And I looked around the room and I thought, no, not for me at all. And I sat there very, very reluctantly, and my mind was totally closed. So I got all the identification I wanted that night, absolutely none. And I went back home and I said, see, it's a complete waste of time. I didn't need to be there. 2 years later, I was back in Alcoholics Anonymous, only this time I had come through a psychiatric hospital. I had been told I had 6 months to live if I continued to take alcohol and drugs. I had lost my wife, I had lost my house, I had lost lots and lots of money because I was hugely in debt. So I could have saved myself an awful lot of trouble if I had listened a couple of years earlier. Now, that's not to say that all this will happen to you, but you must be like wondering, who is this guy? You may be aware of who I am, you may not. Anyway, who I am is I have a well qualified in terms of, I have a degree in psychology, I have a doctorate in psychology, I have trained half of the therapists, whether they be GPs, psychologists or addiction therapists in Scotland. I taught at university level for many years. I also wrote the course and did research. But that's not what I'm here talking to you about. I'm talking to you, one, drunk, two, But that's not why I'm here talking to you. I'm talking to you as a drunk, or should I say an ex-drunk. Because eventually I got clean and I got sober, and I have been that way for well over 30 years now. The thing is that, there are many forms of alcohol problems. You may think, no, I'm not an alcoholic. I don't drink as much as that person. I don't drink as often as that person. I don't get into the scrapes that that person gets into. I haven't lost anything yet, and that may be the case. But the fact is, you're sitting here in front of this video, so if you don't think you're an alcoholic or a problem with your drinking, somebody certainly does. Now, there's a assessment tool, which is a sort of quick and dirty assessment tool that is often used as a kind of rule of thumb to see whether somebody needs treatment or not. It's only got 4 questions, and the last question is has the biggest weighting because it has the most points and it contributes to whether you think this person has got a problem with drink or not. And that question asks a 2-part question. Do you think you've got a drink problem? Has anybody else suggested that you have a drink problem? And that carries the biggest weight. Because if somebody else thinks you've got a drink problem, then there's a strong possibility you do have. Now, there are many ways that we can sort of, as I say, have a drink problem. And there are many ways that it can affect us. It can affect our health, which it may or may not be happening to you. It can be anxiety, it can be depression, it can be physical health. Because many people use alcohol to alleviate depression or to alleviate anxiety, little knowing that in actual fact it makes it worse. Because although it helps it at that moment, it actually sort of takes away any of the confidence that you're given, any of the sort of good feelings. And then the next day you're in an even worse state, and that continues and it continues and it continues, you know. The other thing is that you can be looking at problems in terms of, you know, money. You may not have money problems, you may have plenty of money, you know, and so you can actually afford to drink. On the other hand, you may not have plenty of money, and, you know, money is like a cake. Only, you know, if you take a slice out of it, then there's less left to go around. So, you know, are you taking money out of the household? I certainly did. I had huge amount of debts. You know, I was bouncing cheques all over Scotland so that I could continue to drink. Are you getting in problems with the law? You know, have you been arrested? Have you been arrested for drinking while under the influence of alcohol? Or have you been arrested for breach of the peace, for assault? Are you people assaulting you? You know. And the last one is your relationship. Is your relationship suffering because of this? Do you find that your significant other is, you know, actually struggling with your drinking, struggling to talk to you about your drinking? Do you find there's a distance between you? Do you find that sex is something that happens less regular because either, you know, your spouse doesn't want it, or maybe you're finding it's very difficult to become aroused, very difficult, you know, to, if you're a man, to have an erection, because these things can be caused by alcohol. We have a website which this is part of, but the website comes in two parts, for the family, and there's a part for the drinker. In that part for the drinker, there are assessment tools which are completely confidential. So have a look at it, you know, try it out. There are two assessment tools. One will tell you whether this website can help you, and the other one will tell you whether you are a dependent drinker. And as I say, they are completely confidential. Nobody needs to know the score except you. The website itself is actually, it's a low threshold website. You don't have to be abstinent to come in here the way you would do with most rehabs. There's no insistence on abstinence. You know, we offer three types of outcomes. We offer sort of controlled drinking, reduced drinking, and also, you know, abstinence. So, as I say, we have a low threshold approach. We don't have to jump through hoops to get there. There's lots of support there, there's lots of help there are lots of tools there that will allow you to look at your drinking, to look at why you drink, to look at how you drink, and to look at how you can change your drinking. And the whole thing is free. There are lots of videos where you can sort of hear me and my wife talking about how it affected us, and also how you can change. So there's a whole program there, and it's all free. So try the assessment tools. If it looks as if it could help you, then come and join us. I'll see you there. Okay. Take care. Bye.